young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
This program is brought to you by
LBC Instant Peso Padala. Let's move!
Greetings from the Philippines to the world. We are on Facebook Live on Eagle News and also on our streaming site, eaglenewslive.com. Watch us on our YouTube channel at Eagle News. I am Cesar Vallejos. Welcome to Open for Business. Join me discover the latest news and information in business around the world. Stay ahead of the curve from vision to action. Did you know that our Filipino recipe chicken galantina and the mazurka folk dance that is very popular in Mindoro and Bohol actually originated from Poland? Yes, food, dance, and music are a few of the cultural links that the Philippines has with the country Poland. After 24 years of absence, the Embassy of the Republic of Poland in the Philippines reopened in the country in 2018. And just a few weeks ago, it has celebrated the Polish National Day with more than a century of regaining its independence. With these developments, we are anticipating the blossoming of the Polish-Philippine diplomatic relations that is expected to result to an increased exchange of trade and people-to-people contacts and tourism for both countries. The Embassy of the Republic of Poland's charge d'affaires, Jarosław Szczepankiewicz, recently visited Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Open for Business was privileged to have this exclusive interview that details what Filipinos and the Polish can expect from the strengthening of our nation's diplomatic relations. Before we show our exclusive interview, watch the highlights of the Department of Trade and Industry's press conference highlighting the One Country, One Voice Forum on International Trade with its very timely theme, Seizing Opportunities Amidst the Challenges of International Trade. Here is the Open for Business report.
So we are here, basically we have a forum, the One Country, One Voice, essentially to have a consolidation, integration of all the stakeholders as we firm up positions, as we align our industrial development and trade policy. As we always say, the industry development determines our trade policy. We highlight the importance of industry development in the overall scheme of things, making sure that we develop inclusive, innovative industrialization. We have that inclusive, innovative industrialization strategy that will create competitive industries, both in when we say industries, that would include the products as well as services, or the, what do you call, the non-physical, the intellectual property. And Senator Jaime, we know, is very passionate on the creative design side of as a really a talent and an advantage of many Filipinos. So what we're trying to do here is making sure that our countries align, and so that we can really develop a strong industry policy connected with our trade policy as we deal with other countries. We all look at the opportunities that are before us. The Philippines has been performing very well in terms of the economy, and the momentum is there, and with all this improved credit rating, etc., good economic indicators, we just want to maximize and push forward the momentum. As we say in SEA Games, we really have to win as one. We move as one in this industry development and trade policy sector, and of course we win as one. So thank you.
We welcome all of you to today's press conference for the One Country, One Voice Forum on International Trade, Seizing Opportunities Amidst the Challenges of International Trade. One Country, One Voice. This OCO Forum is an activity under the Philippines Unified International Trade Strategy that the Department of Trade and Industry has adopted to build strong capacity and even stronger partnership among relevant actors and stakeholders in the trade policy making process. Anchored on industry competitiveness, the Philippines' strategy on international trade is a whole of government and whole of society approach that embraces all the branches of government, the business sector, the academe, the civil society, and the public at large in the country's trade and economic affairs.
As you may well know, the Thai courts have already rendered judgment with respect to a case that was filed to the Philippine, to an importer of Philippine exported products into Thailand. We are looking closely at the details of that Thai court's decision. And of course, we are still waiting for the official English translation of that court decision, although we have already had briefings on what the contents of that court decision is. So we're looking carefully at the details of the court decision as to their implication on the DS-371 case. And then we're also looking carefully at what will happen to the appellate body of the WTO, because that will also have a material impact on the timelines as to when the Philippines can invoke certain actions with respect to DS-371.
I think the effort is to go across the board for Foreign Investment Act. I guess the most contentious provision would be the reduction of the capital requirement to a mere 100,000 US, and the reduction also of the minimum number of employees from 50 to a mere 15. So malaking bagay yun kasi marami na makakapag-invest kapag ganyan, and this will probably impact on our tourist infrastructure immediately, and also in the highly desired digital space where the startups are really very small.
As you probably know, there's been some serious discussions between our presidents and between officials, the secretary and his counterpart in the U.S., about the potential of embarking on free trade negotiations. I can only tell you that there are very important constituencies in the United States that would like to see that happen. There are people that feel that the economic relationship has underperformed. The Philippines is seen as a fair trader, unlike some other partners that have been seen as unfair. In the first 3 years of President Trump's administration, they focused on addressing some of those problems among what they've seen as unfair traders. As we look to 2020, I personally believe the only serious potential candidate for free trade negotiations with the United States is the Philippines. So again, it will be presidential decision, it will be decision among the secretaries, but I at least feel good that the voices in the U.S., the private sector, those that import from the Philippines, those that wish to export to the Philippines, will keep speaking loud and clear this is something we should do sooner rather than later.
So, of course, general outlook, at least for Philippines, we're fortunate that we have a very strong domestic demand, domestic economy so strong that, in fact, some of the products and services that are supposed to be exported are also channeled or shifted to the domestic economy simply because of the strong demand. You see consumption still up, and of course all this these economic activities created by the double-digit growth in construction as well as manufacturing, and so we see still a strong overall economic growth, and we hope that, of course, with the timely passage of the budget for 2020, we can start or hit the ground running. In other words, the momentum of double-digit growth for some of the line items there, like construction, supporting the build, will start right away. And with that is a big help to the overall economy. And that the growth there can, of course, help the other sectors, both especially manufacturing, that can experience some pick up when that happens, and then the momentum in the domestic demand continues. So, brighter outlook, the 2020 seem to be much brighter than the 2019. Again, because of what we all expect to be timely passage of budget and stronger domestic demand put up by build, and the many reforms that are being prioritized also by the Senate and Congress, and of course supported by President Duterte. With all these taking place, that's the the stronger or the positive side. Of course, the negative factor will continue to be the external environment, which is basically the global slowdown brought about by the US-China, and I don't know if there would be related issues that might come up also, but there's a reduction in the projection for the global growth, and I think I saw last time about 3 or 3.1, from what used to be about 3.4 to 3.6. So with that, since we are part of all this, global supply chain, the weakening of one part can eventually affect even our economy since we're part of that. Just that the only I guess a disadvantage that's working in our favor is our least dependence on exports, because our economy is 15% export to GDP ratio, so we're not too exposed relative to other countries which rely heavily on exports, over 30-40% exports to GDP. And that is why in the overall scheme of things, while we are affected, we can say that we are the least affected for now. And of course, with this, on the investment side, we hope that we all know that the primary beneficiary will be Vietnam and Thailand for investments getting out of China, but we see Philippines also following next as a country that can accept, and there are already, of course, as we reported last time, Chinese investments getting to the Philippines, not as big as what's happening in Vietnam, but at least we're getting some of it. And that will add up to increasing our domestic capacity, which we really want to enhance, to be able to, again, supply to the domestic as well as have some surplus for exports and reduce our dependence on imports.
The Embassy of the Republic of Poland chargé d'affaires Jarosław Szczepankiewicz, when open for business, returns.
Bilis laki, nipis taba, Bimeg, bilis kita. Tinuloy-tuloy ko hanggang Bimeg Premium Grower 1 and 2. May limpas technology, kaya mas mabigat at manipis ang taba sa pagbenta. Kaya tuloy nyo na! Bimeg, bilis kita!
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Open for Business is very privileged to have with us the chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of Poland in the Philippines, Mr. Jarosław Szczepankiewicz. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing the show Open for Business.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you very much.
As I mentioned off-cam, when we were talking, a lot of the Filipinos, including myself, don't really know that much about Poland, but we know that it is really a traveler's dream destination. And we see it on social media, we see the panoramic views of the places. The ones that are very familiar would be the old town and the new town, and the ones that we see in photos in Warsaw and even Krakow. So these are very interesting places. What is it? But there's more about Poland other than those panoramic views. Can you just reintroduce Poland to our viewers, sir?
This is what you said at the beginning, that the Poland is not very well known in the Philippines, and as well Philippines in the Poland. It's a mutual situation. So I think that the problem was, I think that till 1973, because of the Marcos Order, there was a forbidden any relation with the communist countries. So the Poland at that time was a part of the Soviet bloc. And so this relation were non-existent, simply speaking. There was no exchange, any kind of the people-to-people exchange or contacts. So it changed after 1974 with the opening of the Marcos regime to the trade with the communist countries. And so we tried always to, we tried twice to come to the Philippines. Once in 1971, and second time it was in 1981. But it was a failure, and so it's a third time. We have always in Poland saying, let's try 3 times.
So the first 2 occasions you failed, and what happened on the third time, sir?
At third time I am here, so we are now finishing our office. So formally the embassy was active starting from the 2 January of 2018, when I put my shoes on the Naya airport and I noticed my presence to the Filipino side. At that moment, embassy was formally opened. So, but of course, there is an issue of the opening the office. That's quite complicated process, because it's a little bit the different culture here, the different rules. We have a different rules in Warsaw standard. So, to combine it, it's quite a big challenge. But we are finishing. Today, we finished our office. We have accomplishment 85% of the construction, so it's the end.
So congratulations. Congratulations, sir. That's really something, because again, after 2 tries and a third one, and it's great to know that with your coming here, that is the official start of the opening of the embassy.
So just as you said, that there are some pictures coming to the Philippines from Poland, but it is these pictures are a symbol of the big success of the Poland during the last 20 years. Because when we left the communist bloc, the country was destroyed. The situation was not very optimistic. But in 20 years we catched the best. We are in OECD, we are in European Union, we are NATO member. So, and we are as well example of the economic success. I remember once Jeffrey Sachs, who was a famous economist and working in the World Bank, he said, this miracle that happened in Poland happened to in only once in the human life. It means I'm happy that I witnessed it. This is his appreciation, so I think this is true. And our economy is booming. It's one of the fastest economy in the European Union, and we are catching. And sometimes we are, in the first 20 countries in the world in many aspects. Sometimes a little bit behind this 20, but we are moving forward to catch the best.
Sir, with the reopening of the Embassy of Poland here in the Philippines, what do you think are the factors that led to the reopening? Of course, your economy is booming, but in terms of the relationship between the Philippines and Poland, what do you think were the right business environment or the economic climate that finally you're here and you're back?
No, this is, yes, I think that we are looking at ASEAN as a whole as a very promising, economic partner. It's already European Union is a fourth partner of the Philippines in the world. And as well, we as a Poles, we see the potential and opportunity that Philippines present to us, and it is untapped still potential. But with the very promising economic growth of the Philippines, with the envisaged reforms by the President Duterte administration that may help to boost the Filipino economy, it means that everything will move forward as well for us. And it's true that till now the exchange between Poland and the Philippines, it is not big. It is not big number. It is for
what's your figure, po? In terms of trade?
It's 536 million euro.
Okay.
But it's around Polish export is 80 million euro and import is 456 million euro from the Philippines. So we have a deficit of 376 million euro in the Philippines, and we won't try to balance it.
Although, as you said, it may not be big, it's just a small number, but I read and I've seen that it's really growing.
It's growing. In 1 year, when I compared the statistics, the turnover of both countries jumped to almost 1 million euro per year. So it's a big, and I think the next year will be, it was 2019, 2020, I think that will be essential. It may go, I'm for sure that 100 million euro for sure that we will go because of the quite huge selling coming from Poland to the Filipino Air Forces, because the Filipino Air Forces ordered 16 S-70I Black Hawk helicopters from Poland.
Wow. So
it is, in terms of the volume of the money, it's quite significant input into our trade relations. And as well, Filipino companies are investing in Poland. Filipino Container Port invested $100 million USD in the container port in Gdynia. And another Filipino company invested $250 million US in real estate in Poland. So it's not, one-way relations.
Yes.
So the benefit is on both sides, so it's a win-win relations.
Perfect. You mentioned earlier, sir, about the exports and imports data. In terms of exports, what are the Philippine exports what specific products?
In terms of the Philippines, I think that's mainly electronic parts, so some the electronic components, and as well the services. This means call centers Polish that are serving the Polish companies.
And in terms of imports, what products do we import from
Mainly
Poland?
it's machines and
Machines.
spare parts for different spare parts for aviation as well. Dairy products,
Yeah, their products.
so food products, poultry mainly, and in small part is the chemicals that are exported to the Philippines. But I am expecting the increase in food in terms of the import to the Philippines, food and machines. According to my assessment, it has to rise.
Now, sir, you also mentioned about the changes implemented by the Duterte administration. That somehow gives a big boost in the economic cooperation between the two countries. And you also mentioned the interaction now of businessmen, not only businessmen from Poland, but also Filipinos who are investing in Poland. So what do you think, sir, are the factors also that encourage these businessmen to work together? Are you seeing, one of the main issues now is the ease of doing business. What is the impact of these economic policies in creating the better relationship in terms of our trade?
I think that there are, some general consideration. It means that Philippines are part of the ASEAN, so it means the huge market. And as well, the Philippines has quite significant population, so the market is huge.
Yes.
So I think that this factor are what was, attracting the people to come here. So we have sometimes I would say sometimes personal attachment to the Philippines. There is a quite big company, Lingaro, that is this is the business processes company, and they are providing the services for a big company as a Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble that are operating in the Philippines. But Lingaro is the name of the tree, Filipino tree, and you don't. And the name is coming from the because of the one of the owner of the Lingaro married Filipino girl.
Okay.
So the attachment is sometimes personal. So they choose the name of the company Lingaro because of the wife of the man. So, but for example, sometimes you have a quite strange itinerary for business. In the March, in the Philippines, arrived the Polish company Ruduch and Felczyński. The company is specializing in building bells.
Bells. Interesting, sir.
So
Now,
this is, feeling the momentum sometimes. They well make their choice of time.
But what's your insight now on the many? Of course, we have the build program of the administration, and you mentioned the various sectors where Filipino businessmen and Polish businessmen can really tap. So, what specific sectors or areas do you think can the trade grow more in terms of trade development?
In our perspective, of course, we try to prioritize the issue, and so it's meat export, especially when the Philippines were hit by the ASF. So the opening of the market for a meat, I think, is necessary, not for pork, but for poultry and the beef meat, to compensate the situation, that will be worst. And second is, of course, the military equipment, and the pharma as well. And here we have as well the old, I would say, good relation with the Philippines, because our first honorary consul in the Philippines was Mr. Zuelik.
Okay.
So the owner of the Zuelik Pharma Corporation. So.
Okay. So that's really, we're looking at agriculture, military, and pharmaceuticals.
Dairy products, they are already on the market. There are some brands that you may find in your supermarkets as chocolate of Wedel, or Lactima is a cheese producer. There are some cosmetics that are available. The famous Polish company Inglot. They are around 5 boutiques in Manila selling the products of Inglot here in Manila. So this is, sometimes is the business is moving because they are looking for a niche. It's happened that the opportunity is there and the people are jumping on it.
Okay. We have a lot of questions to the Charge d'Affaires of the Embassy of Poland in the Philippines when Open for Business returns. Stay with us.
Anong cheese ang favorite mong holiday? Ano? Christmas! Mom! Anong pong cheese ang favorite kong subject? Cheese pa rin! Anong cheese ang sabi ni Kuya kay Ate? Cheese naman! Anong cheesy ang creamiest? Magnolia Cheesy! Creamier, mas pinasarap. Easy to slice and grate, kaya busog sa sarap. Matawang-tawa ka, ha?
Ano? Cheesy to please?
Magnolia Cheesy!
Mga kababayan, lalo na sa mga OFWs sa Middle East at North Africa, may good news kami para sa inyo. Mapapanood na ninyo ang Net25 at iba pang Filipino channels na hatid ng OSN sa presyong abot kaya. Libre na ang box at installation, walang admin fees at no extra charges. Saktong entertainment na sakto lang sa budget mo. Bumisita na sa pinakamalapit na OSN store o dealer and subscribe now! Sa Net25 at OSN, siguradong at home ka dito.
Accurate and fair reporting. Not only from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi, but also abroad. Detailed and timely stories relevant to people all over the world. Catch all of these at Net25, your reliable source of news, entertainment, and technology updates.
Landmarks, Linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi.
Open for Business is back, and still with me is the Charge d'Affaires of the Embassy of Poland in the Philippines. Sir, we are talking earlier off-cam also of the Polish communities and Filipino communities both in our two countries. How many Polish do you think are now here in the Philippines?
So around the Manila, I would say around 250 how many people are spread on islands, it's hard to say because they prolong often the tourist visa. So we don't
and when you say they prolong their stay here, they must, love the country.
Yeah, because there is sometimes about they dream that to live on island, and sometimes the reality of living in the Philippines is completely different that they imagined before leaving Poland.
I see. So but based on your communication with them, what is their impression? Why do they want to stay here and probably live or work here in the Philippines?
I think that some of them, I think, is willing to change something in life. So it's mainly, let's start a new adventure in the Philippines, let's see. But sometimes their picture of the Philippines is very schematic and very simplistic. So they think that it's, especially for foreigners, that it's a cheap country. It's not true. For foreigners, it's a very expensive country.
Relatively affordable compared maybe to yours, because that's going to be in euros. But my question, sir, is that with their interest here in the Philippines, and you said that they may like to change their lifestyle, but is that the character of Poland people or Polish people? What's the character of the Polish people that we should know in terms of attributes and attitudes?
I think that we have a lot of in common. It means the religion, the same religion. John Paul II is very well known in the Philippines, as well in Poland, for reason and of course we have the history is in somewhere similar. It was we were fighting for regaining independence. The Philippines gained independence. So the tradition of to fighting to be independent is something that is a part of our identification. Of course, the food is quite sympathetic, I would say, to us. The nature of the Filipino is, we found it's as a very warm persons. So even if I'm coming to my office, sometimes I found my Filipino two ladies singing, for example. So I like it very much.
To sing. Okay.
I'll start the day with singing. Okay.
I'll ask you more questions about our cultural similarities. But before that, sir, what about, because I asked about the number of Polish here in the Philippines, but what about Filipinos living in Poland? How big is the community there?
I would say that now it may be around the 6,000 of Filipinos. Some of them are working in Poland. They just they are foreign workers. Some of them already it's an old immigration. That came to Poland with the overseas Filipino workers. Working on ships, so they stayed. They married the Polish girls, so on. So they established the family, and the main center is Gdańsk, the port town. So they are living there. It will increase, according to my opinion, with the increased number of the application for the working visa from the Filipino citizens, so the number of Filipino in Poland will increase.
What I noted in some of our research is that some of the Filipinos there, if there are 6,000, a lot of them are employed in the banking sector, in the hospitality industry, and also some are household service providers. Do you think this will shift? Would there be more, would Filipinos more be involved in other industries, maybe computing, maybe? And because I also learned that there's a lot of students now enrolled in Poland universities?
I would say the main demand coming from Poland is the construction sector.
Oh, construction.
Not really what you mentioned. So this is the main sector that is asking for foreign workers in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's a lot of sectors opening because our society is more and more old.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to compensate to this demographic decrease of the population and to have sustained economic development with the foreign workers.
Which is exactly how we can complement, because here in the Philippines,
exactly.
we have a very young labor force. And that's why a lot of the BPOs also employ the services of our labor market. Is that also the trend or the sector that the embassy is looking at in terms of getting more traction on trade with the BPO sector and other digital related industry?
Well, I think that some companies are providing this kind of the services to the Polish companies. And the Philippines are the leader of the call centers in the world. I think you are always in very tough competition with India.
Yes.
But Poland is as well a regional center for services for the business. So it's as well in Poland is a booming business. So let's see. But of course, the globalization, the Philippines, I think that you have a very good position in terms of the call centers because you are in the middle of between Europe and United States, where the most, I would say, the advanced economies are located. So it makes that the call centers may work 24 hours per 24 hours and 7 days. So this is a very comfortable, situation. I know one company that is called Next Bank. This is a Polish startup who is integrating the rural banks in the Philippines in the cloud.
Wow.
And they say, I asked them, how are you working? And they say when they are doing intervention in the bank, so they are working on to find the solutions.
Okay.
And they are not able to to solve the problem, so they send the communication to Warsaw when another team start to work on the solution. So they finish the job at the Filipino client, they go to bed, they send the request to Warsaw. In Warsaw, the people are working on Krakow about solution. They wake up and they got through the email the solution, how to solve the problem. So it means that they may work 24 hours.
Yes, it's non-stop.
Yeah, day and night,
Okay.
Because you are working with 2 shifts.
So what is interesting is the 3 interests that you mentioned earlier. One, interest of the Embassy of Poland here in the Philippines that you are really looking at and monitoring. One of this is the internal situation because you are part of the EU. Can you elaborate more on these 3 interests of the embassy as far as the Philippines and how it will impact also in the ASEAN region and its implications with EU, with Poland as a member of EU?
We have I would say the 3 elements that we are looking closely. It means the situation in terms of the war with the terror and war with the drugs.
Okay.
And because it's very, I would say, hot issue, especially in the Philippines. You are reading the press, you know that it's still on news. It's a political question, very important in the Philippines. But it's also affect economic relation between the European Union and the Philippines, because we are now in the in the middle of the negotiation of the free trade agreement. And all the issues of the human rights are the part as well of these negotiations, because it's a kind of the comprehensive agreement. So internal development of the situation in Philippines infect the dynamic of the negotiations.
Yes.
And because the European Union countries, we are not signing the separate trade agreements. We are only signing agreements as a bloc. So there is no, I would say, the separatist trade agreements. It's only one, European Union, Philippines. And it's covered as well, every country, European country.
But you can also do bilateral negotiations aside from being represented.
No.
Okay, so it's really through EU.
On tariffs, we can.
On tariffs, you can.
We can't.
You can't. Okay.
For example, with the actual regime, with the current regime, that is GSP plus with the Philippines. Around 6,000 products are allowed to enter a European market with zero tariff.
Yeah.
So, but this agreement applies as well to us. It means that the 6,000 products enter into the Poland without taxes.
So you have to really negotiate as an economic bloc.
Yeah, we are negotiating as economic bloc.
Sir, we're running out of time, but before we go, I hope you can come again, to discuss a lot of these very, very interesting topics with the embassy and in the Philippines. But I'd like to, to ask about the similarities of our culture. Off-cam, you were talking about our common taste in terms of dance, music, and even food. And a lot of Filipinos, for sure, like myself, don't know about it. Sir, can you tell more about these similarities between the Philippine culture and the Polish culture?
But it was not, it was something, my personal discovery. And many Filipinos are eating chicken galantina, but they don't know it's a Polish dish.
That's chicken galantina. So now we know. Okay.
And second, many Filipinos dance mazurka, especially Bocholana, mazurka, or from Mindoro, and they don't know that they are dancing a Polish dance. So, but both products are brought to the Philippines by the Spanish. We are not really involved in the story. Only that we were present in the Spain, and so the Spaniards, they took a pleasure, dancing mazurka or eating chicken galantina, so they exported the product to the Philippines. So it means a good quality product.
Wow, perfect. Sir, before we let you go, we would like to request you to address the Filipino audience and also the Filipino and Polish businessmen who may be encouraged to do more collaboration, for us to increase the trade between the two nations.
For the Filipinos, you are living in a beautiful country of full opportunities, and we want enjoy this opportunity as a Poles. And for a Polish community in the Philippines, I would say in Polish. Wszystkiego najlepszego w związku ze Świętem Narodowym Polskim. I greeted the Polish community saying that I wish them the best because of the Polish National Day.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Open for Business will be back, and thank you very much to the Embassy of Poland, to the Charge d'Affaires of the Embassy of Poland here in the Philippines, Sir Jarosław Szczepankiewicz. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Open for Business will return. Stay with us.
Kahit gaano man kabigat ang iyong dinadala,
patuloy pa rin ang pagpapadala. Kaya dala namin sa inyo. Pinakamababang rates, pinasimpleng processing, at pinalawak na network nationwide. Dahil sa bawat pera padala, dinadala tayo palapit sa ating mga pangarap. LBC Instant Peso Padala. Let's move!
Soccer, the world's favorite sport. And it's no wonder. Spectacular goals. And plenty of emotion. The best of game day. Kickoff.
I am here at Gastown, which is a National Historic Site in Vancouver, British Columbia. Located in Vancouver's oldest neighborhood is the steam-powered clock, which is Gastown's most famous landmark. Make sure to tune in to Digital Nest every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. I am Lou Aquino, EBC correspondent, and I am one with 25.
In Good Shape, your weekly health show on DW that covers many aspects of healthcare. We look at what's new in medical treatment, nutrition, fitness, and beauty. We discuss these topics in depth with specialists.
In our term of the week, you take a refresher of business terms to make you updated, more informed, and ready to make smarter business decisions. Our term of the week is charge d'affaires. It is a person who represents the leader of his or her government, either temporarily while the ambassador is away or permanently in a country where there is no ambassador. And our word of the week is from Ronald Reagan. He said, Poland is not east or west. Poland is at the center of European civilization. It has contributed mightily to that civilization. It is doing so today by being magnificently unreconciled to oppression. Thank you for watching Open for Business. Join us again in the next episodes of Open for Business for more insights from CEOs, thought leaders, and industry experts promoting business development in the Philippines. See you again every Saturday and Sunday here in Open for Business, where we discuss business information, deliver the latest business news to keep you informed and open for business, and be ahead of the curve from vision to action. You're on Facebook Live on Eagle News, and you can watch this again in the video section of Eagle News Facebook page and on eaglenewslive.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Eagle News, and we are inviting you all to the EBC Forum on Explaining Blockchain and Cryptocurrency. Learn about the current trends and developments on these new technologies and digital assets, and discover a whole new world. That's going to be on December 11, 2019 at the Studio 1 of EBC Building here at number 25 Central Avenue, New Era, Quezon City. For more information about the forum, go to the EBC and Eagle News fan pages. Admission is free, but you have to register online. For Open for Business, this is Cesar Vallejos. Have a great day.
This program was brought to you by
LBC Instant Peso Padala. Let's move!